Hello and welcome to our podcast Co-Optics. My name is Andreas or Uriel159 across all internet channels. 26 years young, living in sunny South Florida, USA. Funny accent, comes from Germany, moved here 7 years ago. My favorite co-op game would be, if I had to make a choice, which is a very tough choice, Spellforce. Because I love RPGs, I love strategy, Spellforce is the best of both worlds. I'm happily married and have a kid of one, and that is also why I like to focus on games that people with limited free time can enjoy.
I'm Andrew, known as variations of Mythy on across most platforms nowadays. 22, living in Colorado where the weather is crazy and people think of pot more often than they probably should when they think of this place. But anyway, my favorite co-op game would have to be, I'm not good at picking favorites, but it would have to be Halo series up to 4 because that's really what I grew up on. Some examples of games that we've played together and enjoyed, mostly some big names, would be shooters like Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, and Ghost Recon Wildlands.
And let's not forget RPGs, which have a special place in our hearts. And the latest and biggest titles in that would be Monster Hunter World, finally a title that made it to the PC. And even though it's a beat 'em up, I still consider it, because of the progression system, as an RPG. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and of course, one of the biggest hits, Divinity Original Sin 2.
Another good favorite of ours is strategy games like StarCraft 2, to the Dawn of War series from Warhammer 40k, the third installment of which was not as terrible for us as everyone else said it was, up to 4X games like Civilization Beyond Earth.
For you listeners, why are we doing this, right? The whole point is that it was always tough for us to find a game that is unique and that is very enjoyable. And everybody kind of talks about the same game over and over again across a dozen websites.
We searched co-op games online and never really found that much different. Just at the top of every list, there was always something like Team Fortress 2, Borderlands, Left 4 Dead 2, Portal 2. So they were always the same, which never really helps your searches.
And between the two of us, we had actually much better co-op ideas in our mind that we enjoyed much more. Anything neglected from, for example, Dawn of War 2 Last Stand mode was a great co-op experience, got many hours out of it, and nobody really mentions that. And another gem that we found, which of course was my favorite game, was the Spellforce series, and it has a co-op mode for up to 3 players, which is actually progressive like your standard RPG, but has strong strategy elements.
Another thing that was never mentioned that we actually really enjoyed is a little gem called Conclave. Honestly, it's not going to be for everyone, but for me and Andreas here, it was really fun and never mentioned.
Moving on, now that you know what we are going to do, let us tell you a little bit about what we're not going to do.
At least for now, will be MMOs because those take way much more time than Andreas can give into them. Console games, we don't have the same hardware. We're also not going to review hardware.
And then, because of my little issues with horror games, especially on the psychological side, we're staying away from that. Some action focused horror games we make an exception for, which would be, for example, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Left 4 Dead, because I have more of an issue with the psychological horror stuff. I mean, if you think about something typical, it would be Silent Hill, Alone in the Dark, the old school Resident Evils. That's kind of what I stay away from because I'm not good at handling that, and I'm honest about that. Other things we won't pick up anytime soon is sports games because we are more on the geek side. I mean, I'm German, so soccer is about it, and there are not many good co-op games. For example, FIFA 19 modes, because can't play against AI together, which is what we prefer. So that is why we stay away from sports games.
Last thing we're not going to do is say anything about the developers or development progress in the case of games that are in early access or being updated. We're we're going to focus on the game itself and how enjoyable it is playing with a friend or a small group of friends. If you like what we're doing and want to support us, then you can follow us at cooptics.com, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Discord would be the fastest way to reach us and get updates.
Because we are basically on Discord all our free time. So if you're interested in giving suggestions or maybe even discuss it with fellow listeners or even us, then that will be the spot for you to be.
So, with all that said, that's going to be it for today. Please subscribe, follow, share, join our Discord. Do whatever you want to do that you think would help us get our message out there. Thank you and have a good night, day, afternoon. Have a good time.